Movie Holics! What's going on, guys? I'm Terrence Cole. Welcome to another episode of Comic Relief. Now, you might notice my voice is a little kind of going in and out. I'm still trying to get over a cold. It's taking forever. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I should go see a doctor. I hate doctors, though, so I guess that's not going to happen. I'm just going to stay sick forever. So I was watching Jessica Jones, and it also got me remembering also, too, the greatness that was Daredevil, and it pretty much, both shows solidified the question that I've been asking myself for a while now. Are the Marvel Cinematic Universe villains slightly underwhelming and a little bit forgettable? Think about it. Now, both shows had great villains. You had Kilgrave in Jessica Jones, you had Kingpin in Daredevil, and I understand that both seasons had 13 episodes to really solidify their villains. Got the viewers to be interested at least in the villains. And now, you have to have good writing to be able to take those villains and have someone either care about them, relate to them, or just pretty much hate their guts, but enjoy the actual villain themselves. And I feel like that, yes, maybe it's a little challenging to do in two and a half hours, but Marvel, honestly, hasn't really given us that villain yet, in my opinion, that has really just kind of stand out and just said, man, that dude was awesome. With the exception of one. Maybe two, but definitely one. Let's go through the list real quick. You had all the Iron Man films. You had Obadiah, Ironmonger, which he is known for in the comic books. In the first film. In the second film, you have Ivan Vanko, who is Whiplash in the comic books. And in the third film, you had Adrian Killian, who claimed to be the Mandarin. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe a little bit later, but not right now. In Incredible Hulk, you had Abomination and General Ross. By the way, yes, Incredible Hulk is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so if you didn't know that, you know now. Thor had Loki and Malekith. I'm pretty sure it's Malekith, but, you know, whatever. I'm sure someone's going to correct me, but I'm going to go with Malekith. It rolls a lot better. Captain America had Red Skull and Winter Soldier and Hydra. Twice. The Avengers have had Loki and the Chitauri, and Ultron. Guardians of the Galaxy had Ronan, and Ant-Man had Darren Cross, also known as Yellow Jacket. No, I'm not saying that these were bad movies. It's just, again, the villains and how they were written were just very underwhelming and kind of almost like filler characters almost. And they were honestly a little bit forgettable. Abomination. There's one villain for sure that, in my opinion, has been absolutely fantastic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is Loki. Due to the part that I think Todd Hiddleston has done an incredible job of playing that role in that character, so props to you, Mr. Hiddleston, you've been fantastic. The other two that I would probably maybe argue would be Red Skull and Winter Soldier, only because Captain America, the Winter Soldier movie itself was probably one of my favorite Marvel Cinematic movies, and also too, on top of that, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little bit biased, I like Red Skull as a villain, so whatever, soon. But real quick, let's go back to that list real fast and really talk about it. So in the Iron Man films, again, you had Obadiah. He was there. He was a bad guy. But mainly that movie was basically centered around Tony Stark becoming Iron Man. In the second one, Ivan Vanko was just honestly, that whole film was just a filler film in my opinion until the Avengers came out. And then the third one. Listen, let me make something very clear to everybody. Adrian Killian, if you don't know, by the way, in the comic books, I will explain it to you. Adrian Killian is just a doctor in the comic books, basically. I won't go through his whole backstory, but that's basically in a nutshell what he is. The Mandarin is this magical being who's freakishly tall. His age is old. It's all magic. Magic, magic, magic. And he claimed in the Iron Man 3 movie that he was Adrian Killian, was the Mandarin. No. Wrong. That's stupid.
But Terrence.
What?
Don't they actually do a short film stating that the Mandarin actually exists in that universe?
Yes, they did. And I believe it is in Thor 2, The Dark World on Blu-ray that you can actually see that short film. But in all retrospect, they claim that they did that even prior to Iron Man 3, which is a crock. They did it because they got so much backlash about the whole Mandarin thing in Iron Man 3 from comic book fans, like myself, that I'm pretty sure they did that to try to save as much face as possible. We'll see. Moving on. The Incredible Hulk had Abomination. Nah, he was there. We'll say that. He was there. I'll be honest with you, we can continue to go through the list, okay? But there is one that I particularly want to get to because it was honestly slightly frustrating to watch on the big screen, and that was Ultron. Ultron in the comic books is a big challenge to the Avengers, and the movie and how he was written and honestly how he was done, don't get me wrong by the way, I love Spader playing him, or at least doing his voice. I thought that he was great doing that. But as far as just how he was written, seemed more of a nuisance, kind of like a fly swarming around your steak and you just can't get rid of it, than an actual physical challenge to the Avengers. It seemed like the Ultron bots that Ultron created were a bigger problem than actual Ultron itself. It just seemed like a gnat that just wouldn't go away. So, I don't know. I personally didn't like Age of Ultron. I thought it was okay. And a part of that had to do with how they wrote Ultron. Honestly, at the very end of the day, I really think that Marvel picked a lot of good string of really solid villains to put in their movies, and I just feel like that the way they were written just really weren't properly done. I feel like that they could have done a lot more, and instead of making them almost feel like filler characters, maybe focus a little bit less on the actual character or hero, if you will, himself or herself, and actually focus a lot more on the actual villain a little bit, especially in the sequels. At this point, you already got the origin story, you know what's going on. A little bit more character development in the second movie for the hero, a lot more character development for the villain. They shouldn't be filler characters. Again, when it comes to the comic book world, a villain is a central focus piece for a lot of these heroes, and I think Marvel will hopefully do a much better job in the future, but we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm overthinking it? Do you think that Marvel actually does a really good job with their villains? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. Also make sure that you can follow us Movie Holics at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud. You can also go to our website at movieholics.net. You can follow me at Twitter at TerrenceCole19. Everything that I just said is in the description down below. As always, guys, see you guys next time on Comic Relief.